Hi there, my name is Betsy, and today we are going to be looking at this nice little design right here. This actually looks really good when you fill in an entire page with it. I'm actually going to show you where this came from. So we did this drawing recently right here, and you can see this is where that design kind of got started. We've got all these nice little spirals and some tendrils around it. This did kind of flow in a single direction, but I wanted to show you today how you could build this up and have it go in any direction that you wanted. So we're just going to use this drawing right here. We're going to keep working on this, and I'll show you that this is actually a lot simpler than you may think, and it's really satisfying, and you can just spend lots of time kind of filling a page with this. So how about we just get started? Here I have just a handful of clusters that I started recently. You can already see this really nice design starting to be formed here. And what I'm going to do is, how about let's just zoom in real quick for a sec so that I show you the basic design element here. And it is actually really easy to follow. So here we go. Zooming in right here to these tiny little shapes here. What I want to show you is that the very basic design here is of this little tendril like this. So what I like to think of when I see this is that it's like this little coil of clay. I did used to work with clay back in the day, so this seems very familiar to me. So it's just a clay coil, kind of like the ones that we use to make clay pots. And what I'm picturing is what would it look like if I just laid them down and if I were physically playing with them. So if I physically had one in my hand, I would probably roll them into these nice little spirals. These coils would be fun. I might start laying them next to each other like this. Create some nice designs. Just kind of roll them right next to each other. And so what I'm allowing them to do is to hug each other. I'm also going to have fun changing their directions. So having them bend and twist in all sorts of directions, up and down and around, and having them bend around each other like this. Occasionally I'm going to leave little blank spots like this. So by blank I mean that I'm going to make a wedge and just kind of fill it with black, just like that. So let's say right here, I've already have some black, and what I'm going to do is add a longer one here, just like that. Let it kind of bend around. So sometimes they're short, sometimes they're long, and they're just going to wind around and fill these spaces really nicely. If you ever have a spot that's too difficult to fit something into, you can just fill it with black. And occasionally here and there, like right here, we're going to fill it in with a little spiral. Fill this with black. Maybe I'll just put one little shape right here, just a little guy. So you can do this and just kind of continue filling in these spaces. And it's a pretty simple design, and it fills it in really nicely. You can see that it's a lot of fun. You can probably fill a page really quickly with this. And then what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to take a moment to record some of this in time-lapse so that you can see it kind of bloom and fill the page, and then I'll show it to you in just a minute. You can see here now that we've made some nice progress on the drawing. There's still a little more space to fill, and I'll be working on that later. For now, I just got a good amount built up here so that I can show you really quickly how to add a little bit of shading so it looks more like this patch right here. What I did do here was some ink. It was a bit of an ink wash, but because of the pen I'm using today, I can't do that. So I am going to use this Faber-Castell Pitt Graphite Matte Pencil. And how about we just zoom in really quickly so that we can do that. And where I like to put the shading if I'm using a pencil, where I like to go is on the ends of these. Just add a little bit of gray. So about here and maybe here. It could be both ends, it doesn't have to be. It just helps add just that little bit of detail to it. So I'm selecting the little ends here, here, and here, all these little spots, and I'll just add some gray, and it really helps just add that much more dimension to it. You're welcome to just find some and entirely just color them in gray. Just play around and see what kind of techniques work for you. You're just going to add a little bit at a time. If you feel that it needs more, then go and grab a darker pencil, add a little more. Just kind of play around with it. This is really the way that I start, is I just added a little gray to the ends, and even just that tiny bit helps so much. So I'm going to work on this later and finish it up. Hopefully I will add it as the thumbnail for this video so you can really see the results. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you like this little pattern, and I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.